welcome to Pseudorandom.
Hey everybody, it's me, Lady Ada. I'm the engineer here at Adafruit, and I'm here to introduce a brand new show. This is the beginning of the rest of your life, where you will be able to watch a show called Pseudorandom, starring this man right here.
I'm pretty psyched.
Yeah, you know what you're doing here, right?
I mean, that intro just ramped me up.
Okay.
I'm involved apparently, and I'm doing it now.
This is Colin,
going.
the Colin Cunningham, who has been doing a lot of, thank you, he's doing a lot of iOS development, videos. People love Colin's lab that you're doing.
That's good. Bless their hearts.
Okay, bless their hearts. And now we're going to kind of do this fun pseudo-random show where you're going to bring in some interesting electronics from your lair.
With no particular tied overarching content.
Nah, that was
strategy.
We're postmodern,
Yep.
and you're going to talk about it. So
hopefully you'll talk too.
Oh yeah, a little bit, but it's mostly your show. This is Pseudo-Random starring Colin Cunningham. I'm just like a anchor host.
Right. Yeah. No.
I'm like the person with the drums.
You're elemental.
Just another pretty face, Lady Ada.
House band. Okay.
Otherwise, I'd be on the first line still. But yeah. So
hello.
What fun things to talk about?
What did you bring?
How about PCBs? You like talking about PCBs?
Love
You into
PCBs.
traces? You like curvy traces? Like getting around, getting a little, combining some of the aesthetic with the functional. You get that?
I like curve. I like traces with a little bit of curve, a little bit of like personality to them.
Yeah, just designing something visual. Might as well make it, play a little bit. Way back before Eagle CADs and Guy CADs and
Or CADs.
Dog CAD. They have Dog CAD? That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
People sat down and they drew out their traces and made transparency or even like a mock-up to make like a rubber stamp to print resist onto boards.
You know, it's interesting. If you, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, if you wanted to make like circuit boards, like let's say you wanted to make a blue box or something based on a text file, you would actually go to Radio Shack and then you would get a circuit board and then you would draw on it with a Sharpie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could do it that way. You can use rub-on transfers to get like, the pads. And
they're so cute. You'd get like a little oval pads and you'd scratch them on. I don't even know what you would even use rub-off traces for anymore. Anyways.
I mean, just if you want to get a little loose and crazy. I mean, if you want to play it old school, that's one way to go. But there's something to be said for that. That old style. You can still get curves and stuff with the curve miter in Eagle, and you could use even teardrop ULP or something.
Yeah, but it's not
older effects. But
yeah, I mean it's beautiful, but it's not gonna. It doesn't have. It's too perfect. Like when you use curves in Eagle CAD, it's going to be like radius 1.5 millimeters, thickness 10 mils. It's going to be perfect.
Right. There's no looseness to it. Exactly. It's not gestural. But I, with a deep appreciation for these older sort of handmade layouts, I was thinking about it and I'm like, don't I have some of these? These look really cool because I like cool looking electronics, as any healthy human being should. And I decided that I'd go look through my junk, my stuff, to find some.
All right.
And grabbed a little video while I was doing that, which is handy because now I've something to play when I ask Phil to play the clip.
You want to see roll the clip now or something?
Roll the clip now?
I'm going to play the clip now.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Roll the clip
I'm going to play
now.
Okay.
Thanks.
The clip is playing.
Right now? Okay.
I could watch that for hours.
Yeah.
Calming.
I did.
Very calming.
The original cut was about 45 minutes.
Okay.
I had to trim it down.
Well, I think you pared it down to just like the essence of the cool traces.
The essence of cool boards that I found in like junk boxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you brought some of them with you as well.
Yeah, I did.
So do you want to maybe show off like one of them and I can ask some questions about it?
Sure. Well, you know, when we were just playing it,
You want to look at that one?
you made a little noise when this one.
I need some notes. So
went
this
by.
one is interesting because it's got kind of this hand-drawn
Good. Yeah.
trace look, but it's also, the pads are really like good quality. So, you can also, there's a camera.
Right.
on it.
Right.
Sorry.
No, it's starting to make sense to me.
Yeah. So the pads are like perfectly spaced. It's not completely hand-drawn, but then the little traces, they look, I mean, I don't think it was done by computer. How do you think that this PCB was made?
By a very neat robot. I mean, it looks like hand drawn because of the looseness of some of these shapes in here. But when I'm looking really close up, you know, it's very even.
Yeah, the trace thickness is very consistent, even if the trace.
Consistent. That's a good word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, like the thickness of like that power trace. It's
Right.
just like it's exactly the
Yeah.
same, and even the skinny traces. Like, see how there's like a bunch of them at the bottom. There's a little bus trace going there, like with eight wires, but they're all like equally spaced.
Yeah, they're the same. They're very regular thickness.
I wonder if this was maybe drawn in like some graphic software that could do like Bezier curves.
Yeah. They could just be pulling around like vector
And then
stuff.
they just exported it.
That
Okay.
is possible.
And
It
what
still
is
has
this
that
piece?
looseness to it that I'm not. My hopes have not been dashed. I still think this is as the human
The human was
evidence
involved.
is there.
What,
Yeah.
what is this board?
This board is an I don't know board. I got this from salvage out in California sometime.
Okay.
I think. No, it's Texas.
Texas.
Austin.
Texan.
Yeah. And
Texan PCBs.
yes, that's the origin. It was unearthed from a large pile in a very cool old electronics shop.
Okay.
So yeah,
Well,
I don't know what that
it's
one
tinned
was for.
through, so it was made by a PCB house.
Right.
sure.
Yeah. That's another thing I like is tinning the whole trace like that.
Okay. And then you want
I
to look
remember
at.
one of the first times I ever met you. I had a board. It was like some noisemaker or something like
Yeah.
that, and I had soldered over all the traces, and you're like, well, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Like the whole board was covered in solder, and I'm like, looks cool.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
All right,
What were
let's
you
look at
gonna
this
say?
blue board because this is the kind of the most
Oh yeah, this definitely it looks
handmade. That is
most-
like almost certainly, totally hand drawn. But
Yeah.
what's going on here too? What
It
is
even
this?
has this arrow here.
The
That's
arrow
I
is
don't know.
amazing.
Yeah, that's because it goes this way. I don't know how that functions. But this, I think, was part of a control voltage keyboard for a synthesizer setup. And it's blue. We need more blue like this. Like
Yeah,
it's not just it's not even a solder mask. That's the actual
The
actual
paper
the outer
phenolic itself is
coating.
blue, and what's interesting? It's
Yeah.
copper and it's not tinned, so it looks like it was made, at home. But then there's that the printing on the other side. There's like a printing, so it looks like it was definitely it was
You mean you've been on
photo resisted, or there was a resist that was etched on. But it's interesting they didn't tin it, and they don't have to because it's single sided, so there's no through hole pads.
Yeah, it's got so much character to it. This is really sweet.
The original name of the show was Colin's Junk Box, but that didn't pass the focus groups.
Yeah, the focus groups. I usually don't trust them, but if you need some input, that's fine. My junk box is mad interesting.
So did you build this, or did you just found it?
This was given to me by I think Pete Edwards of Casper Electronics gave this to me. So I don't know how he came upon it, but that's how I came upon it.
I like the diode has a gigantic diode.
Yeah,
symbol.
it almost reminds me of like a Fisher Pricey kind of like
Yeah.
kid, like my first synth. or
Right.
something.
Yeah. It is super simplified and big symbols like that. That's nice.
Yeah. I
How old is that board, by the way? You think?
Probably. I'm guessing it's like 30 years or something like that.
All right.
Well, there's
Maybe
a date
less.
code going to be on the chip. Maybe does it
Ooh.
see a date code?
ML748CS7322.
What's the bottom four digits?
7322.
73. So that
Yeah.
chip was made in 73. the 22nd week.
Fair
so
enough.
that just means it is at least made after that.
Right. Well,
Good detective work, Lady
Yeah.
Ada.
Yeah.
we got big old blocky old resistors, so that means old.
Okay. So sometime in
And
the
this-
70s.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
What's this
was
thing?
this was the trim pot board for calibrating each individual key on the control voltage keyboard. So you got all these trim pots, so you can tune up your D and make sure your D sharp is sharp enough and stuff like that.
And is this
So-
part of the same product or something?
Yeah. This,
Okay.
this was with it.
And this was a product synth? Do you know what the...
Actually, I don't. It was with a bunch of other Paya brand stuff, but this is not Paya. This is like older.
Okay,
I'm
can
not
you show
sure
the
of
other
the
side?
origin. Yeah, there's no labeling on it.
I like how much solder goes into each solder joint.
Yeah.
It's just, they're gigantic.
They're not going anywhere. Those are in. Nice big wide. And if you think about this though, I mean, this is pretty darn regular thickness too. I know there was some kind of it's sort of like tape that you can use,
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe it was
but I would
maybe
think
it was tape.
that the radius in the corners, they would get kind of messed up as tape stretched. But I've never used it myself, so
Yeah,
it's
I
hard to
don't
say.
know. I mean, another thing is they could have used, a pen that has, a very sharp tip, but it's beveled
Right,
like
so
a calligraphy, and so you're
chisel
always going
tip
to
kind
get
of thing, right?
Yeah, with a calligraphy pen, you'll get very even thickness because it doesn't matter how far you press on it.
Right. But, I mean, so obviously what we're talking about, we're expecting to see, right, is like Sharpie evidence or something with irregularity of traces.
Well, I think you're only going to use Sharpie when you're making one. Like these are for
Yeah,
mass
yeah.
manufactured.
I know, I'm
The-
just saying the telltale sign that we're looking for
Okay.
is it would be something more like this craggy old dog. This
Okay, so this
guy.
one, it has kind of uneven thicknesses.
This is
Also, the etching process is going to be,
prehistoric.
it's going to be
Storage.
different. Yeah, it looks like some sort of bug,
Yeah. It's
like
a
with 20 legs.
ghost of a bug. Yeah, this was me and this really thin, pliable board I had years ago.
Okay, so you made this.
Yeah, I made this one. That's the origin on that. It was for an SN76 synth on a chip board, and it was fun.
When did you make this, Colin?
Is that like 6 years ago?
Okay, so was this when
7 years ago?
we were hanging out at the Make office together in
that is-
Etsy land?
That is
In
true.
Brooklyn? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that was around that era.
All right.
I've got
So why did you decide to etch a board instead of using a perf board or something?
because at the same time of being preoccupied with experimenting with this synth chip, I was also into the idea of handmade circuit boards, and I decided to combine those two interests, which probably wasn't wise at the time because I don't think this worked.
Did you, is this your first handmade PCB?
This is, yeah.
Okay.
And it's a little ambitious to have all these traces so close together when you're doing it all by hand, and then
It's tough because you want the traces thick so that the copper, because it will etch underneath, you don't want it to etch them down, but you also want to be able to have enough space for them to etch in between.
right, yeah. There's a lot of concerns that were sort of bulldozed over as I
Okay.
went for the fun make. On
So
that
you
one.
never got this working, but you did learn a lot about
Yeah,
making
I
circuits.
switched to perf boarding the synth chip,
Okay.
and then it worked. But fun anyway.
This
you know.
is actually the job application that Colin turned in at Make.
Yeah, I was
He
just,
just sent that in. That's how it worked.
PCB.
Here you go. Here you got
Hired.
you got that's you got the job.
I hacked that one. Yeah.
do you have any other fun toys with stories?
Fun toys with stories. All toys have stories. This was I showed this. Actually, I guess I've showed a few of these in the video. But this guy, this layout for this box
That looks
synth
cool,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool. This is from Music from Outer Space, Ray Wilson's brand, and this was a really an old design he did back in the day for this little synth kit called the WP20, and he then released the designs, more recently being like
So
8
did you
years
take
ago
a
or something like
schematic
that.
to draw this?
And so I didn't draw this one. This is his drawing that
And then
he
you
released.
you
And then I did a
transferred
photo
on.
resist, yeah.
Okay, because the 18 text up there looks like it was it says like plus 9 volts and there's like a little WP logo.
Oh yeah, this was added after for labeling with computer,
Yeah, definitely soft. So you downloaded like a PNG and then printed it onto photoresist, or like how did you actually do the process?
I did. This was a actually, this one was laser jet onto photo paper and then an iron-on transfer,
Okay.
which are hell. I don't like those
It's tough.
much at all.
No, you don't like this.
Photo resist is so much better and so much cleaner.
Okay.
As long as you
And
get
did
your
this work?
chemicals right. Oh yeah. Oh, this works lovely.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Oh, this is one of my favorites. It's a really fun little design. Everything's built on here with an LFO and your VCOs and your LFOs. It's a nice little one board. It's not like, it doesn't stay in tune exactly. It's not.
It's not meant to.
No, it's not a precision
loose.
device. No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this kind of, I think that it's interesting. Like it seems like a lot of synthesizers and stuff. That's where you'll get a lot of people kind of doing their own hand experimentation, and like you're into synthesizers as well. So you want to show off one last thing?
Yeah. Well, I just thought it was kind of interesting. I found that this box just said sensitivity
Okay.
on it.
Okay.
That's all it does.
And when I need to be numb to the world, I
Oh,
just turn it all the way
cold,
down.
harsh.
But this was.
Can I borrow that? Just asking for a friend.
If it doesn't really.
It doesn't work?
It needs a little fine tuning.
Okay.
Yeah, I need another one just to self-control. That's the joke. But this was, I think, an old color organ my brother made in high school. And
Well, I love the plastic. It's like a Hammond box.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and it's got like 4 outlets. Like this is the most dangerous.
It's weird because I saw it
Product.
written there. I'm like, looks like my handwriting. And then I realized I didn't make this thing. I realized, it's a good like 20 years older than when I started making these things.
Okay.
But yeah, and then I was like, oh yep, it fits. It's got another Sharpie board, Sharpie drawn.
If it's not that complicated, this is a good opportunity to hand make a PCB.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I can show that too.
Can
So
you show the other side of the PCB? I just want to see the other side of the board.
if I can, it doesn't really
There's a
want to go.
transformer and a couple of
Yep.
capacitors.
Couple of
I
big
think.
caps,
Yeah.
big axial caps.
Okay. Oh,
Yep.
and then there's like triax or something there for actually controlling the 3 outlets.
Yeah, this was just to
Jeez.
control the
This is like the most
incandescent
dangerous
bulbs.
thing in the world. Like
Yeah.
this is like back when it was like getting into an electronics hobby was sort of a death wish.
Yeah, pretty much. It just like, oh, here, I'll put a piece of styrofoam in the back. And
I'll
we're all
just styrofoam
safe.
in the back. Now it's great. You got,
There
like,
were
3
no
main
fires.
lines.
I do have
No
memories.
fusing.
A more innocent time.
I do have memories of different colored light bulbs in my living room flashing in time to music, and it was like, oh my God, my brother's a genius. I remember that. So
What is your brother an engineer?
he is a musician.
Oh, cool.
He is a sound engineer. But
All right.
no, not electronics per se.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool. We got a tour
All right.
through Colin's life and Colin's lab and Colin's junk box.
You know, it's about the inorganic and the organic.
Okay.
It's about the mechanical
So, do you do Eagle CAD
and the
layouts now?
human. Yeah, I haven't done one in a little while actually. But I've been I started to do one in Illustrator after like looking through all this stuff and getting kind of expired.
Right, because what you can do is you
Inspired.
can
Not
design.
expired.
What was interesting is you could probably get the chips in the location, because the chips are going to be really annoying because the spacing is really close. Get the chips, use Illustrator to make a nice grid of like 0.6 by 0.1 inch, and then you could use like the Illustrator tools to draw.
Your traces.
Your
all that.
traces-
You get your pads down.
Yeah,
Get your footprints from Eagle or whatever.
yeah, and then.
And then you can play.
Another thing you
Get
do
your
is maybe
traces
you could
down.
design your design in Eagle CAD, export, because you can export to PDF and then import into Illustrator, and then you would draw over in a different layer.
Yeah, that'll totally work. I mean, obviously with this kind of stuff, you're not going to wanting to get too complex because you're not going to have the automated aid of DRCs or whatever. But it's I'll have to show you. I don't have it done now, obviously.
Okay.
'cause it's
No,
not here
well,
in my
maybe
hands.
maybe next
But
time.
It's fun.
But then take
Looks
the
like an animal.
Illustrator, then re-import, and then export to Gerber. I mean, like it's kind of. I mean, like you can.
I mean, I was just gonna take I was gonna carve it on the other mill.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah, just export the vector and then open up another mill. And
Sweet.
Good to go.
All right. Well, maybe we'll cover that on the next episode
Yeah.
of Pseudorandom.
Yeah, and it'll send us off on maybe another tangent about the animal that it is in the shape of.
All right.
Wait, what?
Question mark.
It's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I'm trying. Is it
Pseudorandom is-
mystery?
You'll have
Yeah.
to tune in next episode to learn about this animal.
It would help.
Pseudorandom is brought to you by you, the viewer. Please hit like and subscribe, and also pick up some electronics. It pays these two sitting on the couch.
Additional support was provided by Mystery.
All right.
And confusion and sensitivity.
Okay.
Wonder.
See you next week.
Self-control.
Bye
Absolutely.
bye.